Hello guys, Dinosaur here, and in a new video, I'm going to talk about, I guess you could say a miracle that God did for me yesterday. It's kind of a long story though, but I'm going to make it as short as I can, but at the same time, try to do it justice. So there's this YouTube, I guess you call him a missionary out there. His channel Living Waters. His name's Ray Comfort, and he often makes an analogy to the people he's witnessing to, about how precious their eyes are and how much more precious their soul is. Well, I agree on both those things. Soul is a precious thing, and while you're on earth, eyes can be a precious thing as well. They make you experience so much, but they can at the same time, the least little thing can cause your eyes a big problem. Anyway, so last week on Thursday, which I guess I should just say last week because today is currently Thursday. So yeah, last week exactly. It was a rough day for my right eye. Both my eyes had been irritated from my allergies. The pollen level is just obnoxious. And I remember, for some reason, my right eye was slightly more aggravated than usual, but it didn't really bother me as much. Then that night, I was taking a walk around town, and somebody was driving along with their LEDs on, the super bright light setting. And on a side note, I'm pretty sure that's illegal here in Ohio. So this driver was driving along with their LEDs on, and the minute those headlights hit my eyes, the vision in my right eye went blurry for a moment or two, and it scared me to death. But it cleared up. My vision returned normal pretty soon after that. When I got home that night, I read the Bible a little bit, and I was getting ready to go to sleep. I remember my eye feeling very irritated, like the sensation that something was in it. As I was brushing my teeth, I looked in the mirror in the bathroom, and I saw in the mirror my right eye. It looked like the iris, some of the brown in it, had actually disappeared. After that, I was in panic mode. I just about got no sleep that night. I was panicking. I lived with my grandma. I was calling my mom, telling them I need to go to the hospital. I need to go to the hospital. But I couldn't do it till the next day. On the next day, a friend of mine happened to show up. I will not be releasing any names. My friend, I got to talking to him about what happened. My eye was still irritated. It still had the sensation that something was in it. And I avoided mirrors like the plague all morning that morning. I did not want to look at it. And then my friend, he got me to go look at that mirror again, and he pointed out to me that things aren't always what they seem, especially in the mirror. When I looked again, yes, it still looked like some of the brown in my eye was gone, but when I turned my head just right, the left eye did the same thing. So the color loss in my eye, it was nothing more than an illusion in the mirror. And that was a relief. So since the only thing really happening to my eye was the sensation that something was in it, my family decided to wait it out, see what happens. By Monday this week, my eye was not better at all. It didn't get any worse, but it wasn't any better. Yesterday we finally got to the eye doctor, and when he I was scared. My thoughts started drifting to the worst things. Maybe there's a parasite in my eye that can't be seen. Maybe I'm losing my sight after all. Words just don't describe how scared I was for my eye. It might sound cliche, but I was expecting the worst and praying for the best. And when I finally got to the actual eye doctor, he, after looking in this microscope thing, he told me, "I got good news for you. There is something in your eye, but it's not dangerous." He explained to me that what had happened was uh, some pollen particles and a little bit of dust particles had somehow gotten into my right eye. And because I'm allergic to those things, my eye wasn't having it. And he explained that it wasn't going to threaten my vision, which immediately I breathed out a sigh of relief. He also explained that there were also some of those particles in my left eye too, but nowhere near as many, which is why my left eye wasn't behaving that way. So the doctor gave me some eye drops and some artificial tears to use, and it hasn't cleared it up completely yet, but I've noticed a difference. And I thank God for it, because if I had to go without an eye, I don't know what I'd do. God protected me from a situation that could have been so much worse. And a lot of things in God's timing we don't realize at the time, but there's a spiritual lesson in pretty much everything we do every day. And it also happens that for this past week I've been reading out of the book of Esther and the book of Job. And what's interesting about those two books of the Bible is that in Esther, God isn't really mentioned in that book, and which was done intentionally by the author of that book. In the book of Esther, the author is trying to get the reader to see God's actions when it seems like God is completely absent. Because even though things looked bad, even though Haman was plotting to kill Mordecai and all the Jews, God still protected them, and he used Esther to do it. And the book of Job teaches us that even when it seems like God is completely working against us, he's really not. And in bad situations, we're just not able to see the big picture right away. And the book of Job also teaches us the importance of prayer, because Job's anger kind of builded until he finally decided to take his situation to God. Of course, he started out accusing God, but God pointed out to him that the world was complex and beyond Job's understanding. He also explained to Job that basically he wasn't against him. And at the end of the book, everything Job had was restored and more. And it wasn't necessarily his reward for his good behavior, but rather it was the grace of God. And that's what God did with my eye. He showed me his grace, and he allowed it to heal. Well, yeah, he's allowing it to heal now. But he protected my eye from a situation that could have been so much worse. And I'm very grateful for that. A lot of people would argue that miracles don't happen today, but I think God is still very much in the miracle making business. And to those of you watching, I just want you to remember, even when it seems like God is completely against you, he's not. Just remember to pray, and you can talk to God through prayer about anything. And God is always, always on your side. Never forget that. Anyways, guys, I hope this video is done something for you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.